Welcome back. Welcome. Hey everybody, this is part 2 of our end-to-end video series on building something with FreeCAD, and we're making a laser cut acrylic finger joint box, tray, rack, thing for holding Altoid tins for storage in the shop. And in this video we're going to make an assembly so we can see how those pieces, I meant to say pieces. Now, FreeCAD doesn't have its own assembly module yet. It's something that's being worked on. But until then, we kind of make do with some add-on workbenches that people have contributed. We're going to be using the Assembly 2 workbench. So you need to go to Tools, Add-on Manager. And select the Assembly 2 workbench and click on Install Update if you don't already have it. I've got it. My internet is slow here, so I do this stuff in advance to save you the agony of watching me do stuff like that. Okay, back in our project, I've got my base models, and it may not be strictly necessary, but I'm going to create clones for these so that I can leave my originals in place. I don't want to move them around. So I'm going to create a clone of back panel, 2 clones of side panel, and a clone of floor, and then I'm going to hide the originals and just toggle them off. Okay, I've given names to these clones so we can keep them straight, and I'm next going to switch to the Assembly 2 workbench, and I'm going to start building the assembly, and I'm really only going to use one tool in here, which is this one to add a plane constraint between 2 objects. Basically, you activate the tools, select one plane on one object, another plane on the other object, and the second one is moved so that the plane is coincident or coplanar with the first one. But one of the problems with all of my objects stacked up like this is it's really hard to select the different faces. So I'm going to do a I'm going to transform these. I'm going to move the pieces out so they're easier to select the faces. And I'll just select the left one, click on transform and slide it left. And the right one, transform and slide it right. And then the floor, I'll transform and I'll move this one up out of position like that. Now it'll be a little easier to select the faces, and this is going to cause us a problem, but it's easily rectified. So we're going to select, I'm going to look at this from the back side. It's a little bit easier, and if I now select the tool and I want this plane to be coplanar with this side, and you'll see that the second one was rotated into position like that, and I want to do the same thing again, setting this coplanar with this face here, or any of the faces that are there. And now I want to make this face butt right up against this one here. So same thing again, I'll select here and here, and you'll see that it jumped the wrong direction. It jumped out of position. And the reason that it did that is that when we did the transform at the beginning and moved it, we moved right out. So looking at what's happening here, the placement of right has been moved 110 millimeters in the X direction. And if I look at the clone underneath it, its position has been, or its placement, it has a rotation of 90 degrees, and it's been moved 32 degrees or 32 millimeters in one direction and 32 millimeters in another. And this, the placement here on the clone is what the constraint did. It did its translation and rotation of this object by modifying the tip object of the body. I did the translation on the container, on the body container itself. So I can just remove my placement now and reset my X position back to 0, and it should line up right where it's supposed to be. I'm going to do the same thing on the left side piece, and we'll set so that this face right here is coplanar to this one here. And now my left, I have to open up to the transform on the position in the placement on the container and reset this back to 0, and it'll jump back into position. Okay, as we have things now, the pieces are in the correct position relative to each other. We set a coplanar constraint between this highlighted face and this face, and between this small face and the back face of the back panel. But if you think about it, that means that this entire side piece could still slide up and down in the y-axis and satisfy both of those constraints. So as we go to move the floor, I don't want that to happen. I don't want it to move the side panel in any way. So I'm going to set 2 more constraints on here. And I'm going to say that I want the top of this and the top of this to be coplanar. And I want the top and the top of this the same way. Now these 3 pieces should be fully constrained relative to each other, and it should be safe to move our floor. All right, to move the floor, it's going to be more of the same. We zoom in here so we can see it. Let's select the top face here and this one, and that'll rotate our position. Now remember that we applied a transform to the floor, so let's go ahead and remove that now. And its position should be back at 0. And you'll see that put it almost exactly in the right spot. It's not quite. If we zoom in, you'll see that our slots aren't quite positioned correctly. So I'm going to zoom in a little closer so I can see in here into this gap. And I'm going to say I want this face and this face to be coplanar, and now it has slid into position. So now if we what we really want to do is check to make sure that the back edge of our floor is not intersecting with the wall, and we can just zoom in to make sure that we see daylight in between, and we do. So that looks like it's going to work just fine. All right. I'm happy with that as an assembly. It's pretty simple. Assembly 2 Workbench has a bunch of other tools that you can use to constrain different kinds of geometry, but I'm not going to dive into that for this project. This is good enough for right now. In the next one, we'll set up the path job and cut the parts on the laser and put the whole thing together. We'll see you then.